Welcome back to Realcomm Live. I've been waiting for this interview. I'm excited about this interview. I'm excited about the gentleman I'm about to introduce you to, Karl Jonsson of Loom. I, through serendipity or fate, met probably 6 months ago. I got a call from Farouk, and he said, Jim, I'm in Southern California, you're in San Diego, I need you to drive up to Irvine. I said, absolutely. So I drove up to Irvine, and he was there, Farouk was there, and introduced me to Karl and his team, and what I saw changed the trajectory for our conference, meaning I was so impressed, which we're going to talk about in a second. What I saw, I said, is there any way we can put these in crates and get them to the conference in June? And True Innovator said, yes, we can. I love that word, yes, and we had some logistics we had to figure out, but Karl and team and a bunch of other people figured out how to get 1 million lumens of light bulbs into our general session room with all the gear that we needed, or you needed, and we showed the audience, probably one of the first times I ever had a combination of fault managed power, high voltage DC, low voltage, which is what you specialize in, and then 1 million lumens of light. And so I've only known you for about 6 months, but you've taken my whole game to another level. And first of all, I'm going to let you just give a little of your background. Go back as far as you want, and then we're going to talk about Loom, and then I've got some questions. So.
Sounds good. Thanks. I appreciate the support.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so my lighting journey goes back quite far. So I started in the entertainment lighting back in the 90s, doing DMX stuff for theater, shows, nightclubs, stuff like that. And then after university, or during university actually, in my final thesis and my master thesis, I was looking at the future of the connected home and came up with a smart light bulb. This was around 2003.
Wow. Did you ever hear of Ken Sakamura and Tron in Japan?
No, but I saw the videos.
He was doing the smart home.
Great minds think alike.
I think it was the late 80s actually. So he was way ahead.
Yeah, and that was with the PoE you showed me already.
Oh no, that was different. That was after. I mean, if the father, in my opinion, the two fathers of home automation were Walt Disney and then Ken Sakamura over in Tokyo with Tron. Yeah. And they created this Tron house. And I think it was in the late 80s. I actually traveled to Tokyo to see it, and they closed it like the week before I got there. Anyway, so you're in the 2000 timeframe now, right?
Yeah, and eventually made a light bulb that got to the market with a startup company called Greenwave. I was working with at the time. I was one of the founding members.
Wow.
And this was 2010 when we got the bulb out. It was so early when I started. It was a compact fluorescent first. And we used the Nokia 3650.
What was the wireless protocol?
It was Bluetooth.
Bluetooth, okay.
It was the Nokia 3650. It was the first phone with smartphone with Bluetooth. So way before the iPhone and all that.
Well, Nokia was absolutely one of the innovators. I mean, I remember their first devices were light years ahead of anybody else.
Yeah, went to their showroom in Finland in 2008, 9. It was quite amazing. They were so far. They had the whole smartphone game figured out, but it was just
and then it changed again.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, so, but I caught the DC bug a little later. I was working at Tridonic. I ran an incubator for Tridonic in California. Okay. And we really caught the DC bugs, like let's do everything DC. This was 2014.
14, okay.
Yeah. We started tinkering with power Ethernet. At the time, we could only do 30 watts. But we saw the vision, and similar to our discussion yesterday, we're saying, like, you look in the ceiling, this should all be IP addresses.
IP addresses,
the lighting is the most dense network we know, and this is the perfect for IoT to put sensors and all the things. So everything should be digital and low voltage.
Now, Loom's been talked about a lot the last day and a half here, and you got some, what's the word, in a bottle, not genie in a bottle, but you've lightning in a bottle. You've got something going on here. Can you give us a little description at a high level first of what the vision for Loom was and where it is now, where it's going?
Yeah, so the vision for Loom, it's a merger of two companies. Amaris Controls, which has been around since 2011, and they started in wireless protocols. A protocol called 6LoW, very similar to Thread. It's an IP-based wireless protocol, and then a very comprehensive cloud platform, which an IoT platform has been running for years. Got hospitals on that platform and other things. Wow. But in 2022, we merged my company, my little company that did PoE systems, to Amaris, and we changed the name to Loom.
Got it.
I started my company 2019 working on what I call XPoE today, and it's now trademarked and patented and everything. So these 3 years when there was basically the incubator phase for me in my garage.
Wow.
And what I wanted to, what the vision was to get the best of both worlds from a centralized DC system and a power Ethernet system. And power Ethernet started early in the lighting space, and it got kind of a bad reputation in the field because it got too far too early.
Right.
There was a lot of problems with power Ethernet at the time, and it was not designed for lighting. It was using enterprise-grade switches that had AC power input, generating a lot of noise and heat.
Yeah. And square peg round hole.
Yeah, exactly. So, so we took that approach and rethought it from first principle, kind of like Tesla did with cars. Like we're going to
look at the Roadster compared to where they are. Yeah.
We're going to design PoE system for lighting. Networks come secondary. But so we came up with XPoE. It has several benefits when it's used with lighting, up to 120 watts per port, and no LED
doubled in the last
needed.
3 years, right?
Yeah,
we've doubled.
Since 30 watt.
Yeah.
And DC input and other benefits, but what's remarkable with it is, like, if you plug an IP telephone, it's backward compatible.
Right.
It works like IEEE.
It took me the third time of hearing you say that to realize how important that is.
Yeah, because otherwise you're just another proprietary solution, and you have to push the elephant up the hill to.
But I mean, at the end of the day, powering 1 million lumens through a small little wire is a feat, a physics feat, a geometry feat. I mean,
yes.
we're now at the physics level, right?
We are, and I looked at even higher currents, and if you have a 22 gauge cable, you can go up to 176 watts from a physics point of view.
Wow.
But if you plug if you put a 26 gauge cable, for example, which is much thinner, and you try to run 176, you might have liability and danger.
Right.
So we settled on 120. That was
the
the sweet spot for not still being compliant and make sure that even if people use the wrong cables, you're still okay.
Right.
You just have better, worse efficiency.
And then you bring in a powerhouse like Zoom to Bell,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Who gets it. I had never heard of Zoom to Bell before I met you, and I've been following this industry for 20 years. But again, you get focused in your sandbox, and you don't look over at Europe or around the world. Tell us a little bit about Zoom to Bell and that decision to remove the driver. That was fascinating to me.
Yeah, Zoom to Bell has been extremely supportive of the solution, especially in the US.
And now you're on the board, right?
I'm on the board of Zoom to Bell US, yes.
Oh, okay.
And Zoom to Bell Lighting US, what they did was they were one of the first ones to take the drivers out of the
beautiful, bright LED fixtures.
Yeah, it's called Craft 2, which is designed for high bays. It's a very popular fixtures in factories and all. There's a promotion video where they.
Did they use Zoom to Bell at the warehouse at Mauser? Did they use Zoom to Bell?
No, it was too early for that, unfortunately.
Okay.
But we do have it. The 1 million lumens are based on Zoom to Bell.
Got it.
And they were able to take these two massive drivers, 70-watt drivers, out of the.
Yeah, you took them right off the top of the fixture.
Yeah.
With the demo at your lab, I mean, I got it. I mean, it's like, okay, driver, cost, and then you just took it out. It looks more streamlined. You go straight into the fixture, and then what do? You handle the driver needs at your box.
Yes, our box has 16 universal drivers built in. It can go up to 2.4 amps, if constant current, and also constant voltage, 24 volt, 36, 48. So it's a universal LED driver, DC-DC driver. But the benefit for the lighting manufacturer, what Zoom to Bell really got, was like, it's not just removing the driver, and because when you remove the driver, you can have much longer warranty, because the driver is the first thing to fail. Right. So now you can offer 20 years warranty. But not only that, they're an international company, and when they have a much bigger portfolio in Europe than US.
Right.
When you're moving these products across the globe, you gotta find the right driver that meets regulation in that country.
It's
now you can have a universal SKU. It's low voltage. There's an RG45 plug.
I mean, I said it in the general session. I said, everybody's going to look up and go, oh, lights, what's the big deal?
Yeah.
If they took 10 minutes or 15 minutes to have this conversation, look at that rack with your stuff, with the fault managed power, the little wires going up to that 1 million lumens, it was a physics miracle. I mean, because I've been following this for a while, and I knew the Redwood engine and Cree, you know, those companies 5-10 years ago. And what you guys have accomplished in call it the last 7 to 8 years has been phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
So we're almost out of time. Anything you'd like to say to our worldwide audience on where you are now and where your journey's going?
Yeah, I mean, we're done with a pilot phase, and I think the solution's ready now. We're ready to go scale, so don't be afraid. There's several pilot projects with Sinclair and others that are, and not just pilots, real big projects.
Real big projects, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's what the rest of the world needs to see is this is no longer concept, no longer theory. This is in, it's working. It has immeasurable benefits.
Yes.
And we're looking for that next stage of innovator, right? The people in this room are innovators and early adopters. We're going to look for a few more, early adopters. But I'd say in a year or two, we're going to be ready for the mass market to really start paying attention. So thank you so much for being here.
So, thank you.
Appreciate it.